Hey you guys, it's me Gemstone from tarotforhealing.com. I hope you guys are doing really well. This is your monthly reading. This is for Libra and this is for the month of December. And this month I'm not going to be doing the playing cards just because you guys know I have to go with the flow. I have to go with what feels right for me. So this month I was just like, I've completely even forgot about the playing cards, to be honest. And so this deck was kind of speaking to me. I bought it not that long ago because I'm sort of gradually trying to kind of learn the fourth system. And like I say, it's gradual because there's a lot to that system. It's a lot to learn, and it's probably going to take like years for me to learn it like fully, if that's even possible. But so yeah, I'm just sort of getting a feel for the cards and using them sort of intuitively, with some of what I've learned, if you get what I'm saying. But I love this deck because it kind of, it's not like the fourth deck, but it's sort of based on it. It's like a similar kind of system, and I love the back, like with the eyes, like so cool. And so yeah, I'm gonna get into your reading before I keep on rambling. And yeah, so your first set of cards is gonna be for your finances as usual, and you have the two, which is love. Hold on, did I mess it up? Hold on, let me see. Oh, okay. No, I didn't. Sorry. Anyway, you have the two of cups, and then you have the three of cups, and then you have the nine of swords. So what it's kind of telling me is that if you've been working alongside somebody else, either you're in some kind of business partnership or dealing with somebody else in a business sense, but it also could be just in your working life dealing with somebody else that you work alongside or work very closely with. It could be saying that you guys have achieved some forms of success together, or that your working relationship is going really well. You seem to have a good pairing. But then this nine of swords is kind of what concerns me, because it's kind of feeling like, even though these cards are like showing success in some kind of senses, there's fears and worries and doubts that are kind of creeping in as well out of this situation. And I think it's almost like it could even be a situation where it looked like things were going really good and going well, and then all of a sudden like something showed up, maybe unexpectedly, or something just hasn't been feeling right or going right, and that's what's really concerning you. But I with this card is showing that you're stressed about a situation and you have some worries about the situation. And I think your worries are that for some reason this work setup is going to end somehow, or your worries could be that like it's not working exactly the way you would have wanted it to. And I think it's got something to do with this pairing that you have with this other person. Maybe you feel this other person and you, even if you may have created some good stuff together, um something is worrying you in terms of this other person that you're working with, or or maybe it's about their loyalty to working alongside you, or maybe it's just the way in which they work. But it's sort of interesting how these cards are progressing. I feel like there's something that the two of you have created that you've worked together on, and that was the thing that kind of brought you guys there's a feeling of success surrounding that. But then for some reason you're questioning this project or this success or whatever it is that is being created here, and it's really worrying you and it's really stressing you. And with that worry and the stress, I almost feel like it can taint what has been created here previously, because it almost like, when I look at these cups and you look at them, they're like, have these stars, almost like they're magical. So it might have felt like a magical union, like this person came in and it felt like the right situation with the right person. And again, it's like showing that maybe you guys have had times where you've worked really well and things have been created, things have happened. And as you can see, these cups are like overflowing, so it's like it's joy, it's abundance, it's plenty. So it's very hopeful. But then this card is like showing like the hope has been lost. something has gone wrong, something isn't quite right. So, how do we go from here? Where do we go from here? It just kind of feels like there's just a lot of worries and fears happening. But a lot of this, it could be in your mind as well. So it could be saying that, make sure that you know what the situation fully is. Like, don't have this situation where you're worried about things, but you haven't really spoken to the person and you don't really know if things can be worked out, or if there isn't a logical explanation for maybe the things that they're doing or something like that. And then maybe if you found that out, you might not even be worried. But I kind of feel like it could be just, you kind of looking at this situation from your own perspective, and because of that, you may be fearing the worst. So, make sure you have clear communication between the two of you so that you really understand what is going on here. So those are those cards. And then you have, for your relationships, you have the Five of Swords, the Two of Wands, and the Four of Swords. So the Five of Swords could represent disagreements with somebody else. Defeat is kind of showing that maybe it's an argument where you feel that you may have lost, or it could be an argument where you feel like you're just getting nowhere with this person, or you're just getting nowhere with this conflict that the two of you are having. And you can see that there is this animal here, which I don't know quite what it is. But I kind of feel like from looking at this creature, it's almost like it's saying being able to control your temper, being able to control anything within yourself that just wants to kind of unleash and just explode and just say everything that you want to say. And regardless of how much it hurts, you just say it, because even though we are Libras, and Libras can be very diplomatic and stuff, I think if you get on the wrong side of a Libra and they kind of are through with you or mad at you, they kind of unleash their tongue a bit as well. Because we are messing with that kind of air energy, connecting with the swords energy, like what you're seeing here. And in this case, you can see the swords are broken. So this to me is speaking of somebody that, was through with the person and is just telling it as it is. And they're not taking any prisoners, and, they're throwing punches and these punches are landing, basically. So feelings might get hurt, So kind of be careful with that. I mean, only if you really are kind of, you're not just sort of just trying to hurt the person, but you're just trying to maybe be honest. Sometimes honesty can be painful as well. And so maybe that's what the situation is. Maybe you've sort of held it in for a long time. And then, maybe things just hit the fan and then you just had to tell it as it is. But then I kind of feel like, this card, which is Dominion, Two of Wands, I kind of feel like the situation can be fixed. Because with this Dominion card, it could be saying that maybe somebody is going to win the conflict. Like maybe it's going to be a situation where you can come to an agreement, come to some kind of truce or some kind of understanding with one another. Again, you might need to be patient in order to come to this understanding, because the relationship is changing. Like the nature of the relationship is different. Maybe this was the first time you guys really dealt with some kind of big conflict in this relationship, but maybe it just needs to be worked out and you guys have to just find some level of understanding one another. But then at the same time, because these wands are crossed, it also could be saying that maybe for some of you guys, you may feel like you're not really getting anywhere with this person, or you're not really getting through to them as you would like to. But I kind of feel like you have to practice patience with this other person if you want things to work out, especially with this Four of Swords. The Four of Swords could be saying that you might find that because maybe you are having trouble with this person, you may retreat away from them or distance yourself a bit from them. But I feel like it's saying that if that's what feels right to you, maybe giving each other a bit of space might not be a bad thing. It might actually be what you need to be able to come together at another time, and for the two of you to kind of feel a bit more calm down and just be able to maybe talk a bit more from a reasonable standpoint versus from this kind of standpoint. So it could be that as well, or it could just be like this card could just be saying that you need to practice patience with this other person and kind of take time to work things out and for things to kind of heal after a while. Because I kind of feel like there is with this four, it's still there's something that is worth exploring in this situation. I kind of feel like, so I think that um yeah, giving yourself that time will help to work things out, I feel. So yeah, but I think that interestingly enough, even though I am getting this idea of sort of words being exchanged that's quite harsh, I kind of feel looking at the colors in these cards that it was necessary. I think that certain things had to be said because they weren't said before, and it's almost like you had to bring certain home truths to light. Because again, like, because being a Libra, sometimes we can sort of keep stuff to ourselves because we don't want to rock the boat, we don't want to upset people, but then sometimes it can get to a point where you're holding in too much and then you just have to say everything, and then because you say everything, now people are looking at you like, oh my god, she's such a bee because now she's saying this stuff, but it needed to be said, and so I think that's what's sort of happening here. I think that you're going to be communicating like very openly and honestly with your partner. That's kind of what I see here. And so, for those of you that are single, you have the Son of Cups in the north, which is the Prince of Cups. You have the Fool card in the middle, and you have the Strength card. So for those of you that are single, there seems to be somebody that is in your life in some kind of way, even if you haven't made something official. There's going to be a new beginning between you and this other person, especially if this person is a water sign, or has that kind of nature to them. There is going to be a new beginning that you have with them, and you're going to be sticking it out. You're going to be making good in a situation that went wrong, or a situation that was or even if this person, for some of you guys, could be a brand new person coming into your life that you want to be with. Maybe this person isn't everything that you're used to, or maybe this person is going through their own dramas or certain situations. But I think that if that's the case, you're still going to be wanting to explore a relationship with this person, or at least see how things go. I also feel that these cards could be continuing from those of you that are in relationships, those cards as well. So I feel like they're all kind of connecting with one another. And I think that these cards are saying that if you are in a relationship and if you have been going through some difficult times with someone, that again, it's like you guys are going, like, your relationship is coming full circle. Now that you guys have had this conflict and you've aired out like your dirty laundry and everything like that, now it's given an opportunity for this relationship to be even better and to go into a new direction. And I think that you're not it's almost like I'm getting this a similar message from one of the other signs with this Trump card. It's like it's almost saying that you're not ready to give up on this person or give up on this situation. It's just a case of maybe just making sure that when issues come up, that making sure that they're handled properly. Again, don't hold things in or keep things to yourself when you should be saying these things, because I think that that can make situations worse. So it's about you just saying it at the time when it happens and telling it as it is and being just really honest, even if it means being a bit blunt to this other person. But I think that that can sort of help to improve this relationship. So yeah, and controlling your temper as well, if that's been an issue recently. Your spiritual cards are the Justice card, which represents you because it's ruled by Libra, Justice, and the Chariot card. And then you have the Eight of Wands. The first message that just came to mind just looking at these cards was telling me that make sure any kind of emotions that you feel are that you're being reasonable in terms of your emotions and emotions that are coming out and coming up and coming out, basically. I could have said that better, like, that's so weird, but basically what I'm trying to say is I think that this month you can be very emotional and you might be quite vocal with your emotions. And so what it's kind of saying is that you need to be able to kind of don't be irrational emotionally. try to pair logical understanding with emotional understanding. Try to bring those two together, because sometimes when they're not balanced, you can either be too logical and that comes off very cold, or you can be too emotional and that comes off very all over the place, and like you can't control yourself, almost like you're just very reactive. So it's like you have to kind of find that balance this month in December. The Justice card again is always is about, for you, balance is going to be a really big thing for you in December. And Justice is also about, you may be really vocal in really saying again how you think or how you feel, or making sure a person is treating you right or treating you in the way that you deserve. And the Chariot is saying is that the more you kind of stay within that way of thinking about what you deserve, I think can be actually good for you, because it means that in the end you may actually get the situation that you want for yourself. So I think that this is the time that if you haven't really been feeling like certain areas of your life have been going the way you want them to, or you're not even getting the respect or the treatment that you feel that you are worthy of, I think that you're really going to be speaking up for yourself and really letting people know that. And but then at the same time, again, it's like you have you're ending on the 8 of wands, which is saying that there is good things opening up for you, good communications, good news opening up for you. Even looking at all of these cards all together, if you've been waiting on a settlement or some kind of judgment or decision to happen, it's saying that it's going to work in your favor. It may have been challenging to begin with, but it's saying that in the end you'll get the result that you want. So that's really good. So yeah, so those are your cards, Libra. Peace and many blessings to you. I'll see you. Bye.